Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships. And today I'm back showing off the Tier 8 Russian DD, the Ognevoi, on the split branch to the Grozovoi. This is once again part of the research that I'm doing, and I figured might as well re-show it because it's definitely not a ship I would normally pick as, a fantastic ship. It's not a bad ship, but definitely not the greatest in the world. I am joined with Wheeze in the Tier 8 Premium USD, the Kid. And as you can probably see, there's quite a few Tier 10s. We're a lowly Tier 8 DDs in this Tier 10 matchup. But never underestimate the fact that even though you may be low tier, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can still carry or help carry the game, which you will be seeing. This is kind of the reason why I picked it, is pretty much the scores at the end. So, Tier 8 Ognevoi, it is not a very good gunboat. This is the major, issue with the Ognevoi, is she has two dual turret setup. They don't reload very quickly. They hit semi-decently. They're not like German HE. The AP is pretty decent, but they're very piss poor. What really kind of goes for the Ognevoi is her torpedoes. Her torpedoes reload decently fast. When you first get her, you have a 2-3 setup, and they reload every 55 seconds roughly, so they're very fast on the reload rate. The torpedoes aren't great. They're very slow. They're around 55 knots, I believe. So not super amazing. They have a decent range, 10 kilometers, which is beneficial because it does mean you do have a little bit of a buffer, because its detect is actually super nice as well. It's 6.1 kilometers. Not as amazing as obviously like the Benson or the Lightning, but 6.1's still pretty decent all the same. It's AA, as you can see, we're constantly being harassed by the Midway. Is once again not super amazing. It's nothing compared to the Benson or obviously the Kid. So, I mean, you can't overly rely on it. It's kind of, I would say it's kind of probably one of the worst Tier 8 DDs that you can possibly get. It does definitely play a different role, for sure. One thing to keep in mind is the Ognevoi doesn't have a upgrade to its torpedoes. It only has a upgrade to its guns, range, and hull. The only way you can get to the hull is going through the guns, so that's somehow necessary. So you upgrade your guns and you upgrade your hull. Once your hull is upgraded, you go from a 2-3 setup to a 2-5 setup, as you do see here. Once you get to the hull upgrade, the torpedoes increases in the number of torps actually being dropped. As you can see, we're dropping 5 per launcher. They do increase in reload time to about 1 minute and 25 seconds roughly. So they don't drop out as quickly. I should also mention torpedoes actually hit semi-hard. Not the hardest hitting torpedoes in the game, but they still hit pretty decently hard. So you do have that working for you. So other downside, and I really debated whether or not I wanted to keep the A-hole just for the faster reloading torpedoes. Granted, yes, you have a reduction in the number of torpedoes available, but they do reload a lot faster. They still have the same speed and damage. Just with the B-hole, you get the upgrade as far as how many torpedoes are available. As you can see, there is a Friesland in that smoke screen, and it's not particularly a great ship, but a 2-on-1 battle is definitely where you want to be at. As you can see, we're definitely focusing on that. So we're going to go ahead and try to help out. Well, once again, Ognevoi's torpedoes fairly slow, 5 seconds on the reload time. Unfortunately, I do beach myself and am attracting the attention of the carrier, so unfortunately I am going to have to go ahead and smoke up. but we are at least doing pretty good damage against this Friesland. So there is always that. Now, obviously, the only other major downside of not upgrading your hull, actually two of them. Most major one is you don't have as much health. You have about 2.5 thousand less points of health if you stick with the A hull. There is obviously you don't have as much available to actually survive as long. And your rudder shift time is quite noticeably different. It does take a lot longer to actually get your rudder shifted. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm nuzzling up against Weeze there. As you can see, the CV really doesn't like us. He is divvied up with that Friesland, and I believe that Yamato. Yes, in that Yamato. Torpedoes inbound. Fortunately, we're actually going to be able to dodge that relatively easy, which is nice. And at the moment, as you can see, and you probably guess what's kind of happening, our team's not doing so hot. We're currently down 2 ships. We do have the same amount of caps, but obviously they've only lost 1 DD compared to our 3 ships that we've lost, our battleship, cruiser, and destroyer. So yeah, not the greatest situation at the moment, but we are trying our best, trying to at least get some fires. That Yamato did take a torpedo. Buffalo shows up right behind us, and for whatever reason doesn't radar, so I'm assuming his radar is actually going down. Fortunately, we do have a Kurfürst who is going to help us kind of negate that issue. Once again, the Ognevoi guns are not super amazing. That's by far the most annoying thing, because you get to the Udaloi and you actually have guns, even the Garzvoi. So it's a huge difference between going from the Minsk at tier 7 to the Ognevoi. The Ognevoi is kind of an odd duck in its category because it's just almost solely a torpedo boat. That's the only thing it's really good for. So yeah, it's just not super amazing. That's probably what I would say. I say that it's not super amazing. Yeah, I still have pretty decent battles with it. Once again, if you play it right, as you can say for almost any ship, if you play it right, you should be fine. You should be just fine. This Kagero is just rushing. Honestly, it's not a super bad idea. It is going to focus down our Kurfürst. Our Kremlin is near death, is trying to heal, but he's just far too low. Kurfürst is going to eat those torpedoes, and I believe his damn comm is currently off. And even though we did manage to bring back a few of the ships, we're just in not a fantastic position. Friesland does go down, but we've just lost our Kremlin. We just lost our Kurfürst. And I think we're about to lose our Venzia to the Puerto Rico. Their Thunderer is near full health. Their Smolensk is near death. And even though Ognevoi's guns may not be the most amazing, I think the Ognevoi might be able to take out that Smolensk if it has a good enough opportunity. It is only 4K, and Smolensk doesn't have that great of armor. So, gonna try to push in against the Thunderer. Thunderer is sitting, sitting still, not really doing much. Probably should have waited just a teensy bit longer on those torpedoes. Always not the best drop to drop it like this, but at the moment we need to at least try to do something. And once again, these torpedoes reload decently quick. Not the most fastest torpedoes in the world, but they at least kind of do the job, which can definitely work in the Ognevoi's favor. Now, I do open up hoping to scare the Thunderer into moving forward, making some silly mistake, but unfortunately for us, he doesn't really do that. Now, we do have a Shimakaze being oh so ballsy. I am actually very curious how close he is to that Smolensk, and there's even a gearing over there. I believe that gearing is divvied up with that Smolensk and Thunderer. So, very ballsy, because Shimikaze drops his load completely, and I think he whiffs everything. So, not the best idea. I actually kind of curious why. If I was the Shimikaze, I probably wouldn't have pushed in like that. I would have stayed on the south side, maybe turned back to the west side, just so I have an avenue of escape. But the Shimikaze is currently in a very odd predicament. Now, once again, the Ognevoi torpedoes, they're slow. So you kind of have to really hope that the enemy battleship or ship sails in a straight line because, well, if it doesn't, your torpedoes are more likely to miss. But obviously, to help negate that, getting as close as possible is your best option because it is a much higher insurance that you're actually going to land those torpedoes. Now, I don't know what the Shimikaze is doing. He's been sitting there, for a while now. I don't know if he's currently radared. If I was the Shimikaze, I would be leaving. Like, it is extremely stupid because he knows there's some alerts. He knows the Puerto Rico's coming back. He still has decent health. We actually land a hit on that Thunder. Did 10k. Did knock out his engine. Caused the flooding. Hakuryu's dropping in as well. Does not knock off another chunk. Does use his dam comm, which does leave him susceptible to fires. Which, once again, the Ognevoi can cause fires. But it's not a super high fire chance. Now, one thing I really haven't mentioned about the Ognevoi is it does get a heal, which is extremely beneficial for tier 8 DD to have a heal. You do get 2 charges. I believe this captain does have Superintendent, which can prove beneficial, even though I have yet to really need it. So I do smoke up because the CV is currently spotting the Thunder. I can at least reset him. Shimikaze does get the gearing, but he does go down to the Smolensk. So I honestly don't know if I agree with that trade-off for sure. Do get a fire on that Thunderer. He does take another torpedo hit from the friendly CV. And I will have to give props to the CV. He's been doing actually decent work. He's actually done decent work against that Thunderer. But the Thunderer is going to go down to our torpedoes, which is going to be our very first torpedo kill. And lucky shot from the Vlad actually hits us, but we do at least get some nice defended base caps. Now, this entire battle that's been currently happening, U.S.S.R is actually currently trying to deal with the Western Front. And for anyone that does not know anything about the kid only has 1 torpedo available to it and doesn't have a reload booster. So, of course, as you can probably predict, RNG has so blessed U.S.S.R with the fact that his torpedo tubes was destroyed by, I believe, the enemy CV or something like that. So, U.S.S.R is currently obviously down any real potential damage dealer. So he is obviously only going to be a gunboat. Fortunately, I am going to try to assist. We have pushed the Vlad out. And at this time, it's still kind of we're still somewhat in a position where we could possibly pull this back. However, as always, the most major difference is that our Puerto Rico is about to die. They still have a Yamato. They still have a Vlad. They still have a enemy Puerto Rico. And as you can see, things are kind of going bad quite quickly. Vlad's so low in health. Would have been nice to actually get rid of him. Does look like the CV might go after him, which would be beneficial. I'm trying to be sneaky here. To try to get torpedoes drop on that Yamato. Unfortunately for us, we are going to get spotted by the enemy CV right about now. Yep, which Unfortunately, it does alert the Yamato of our presence. Enemy midway is by far being very obnoxious. And unfortunately for us, that Yamato is aware, and he does take preventative measures to avoid any possible torpedoes. So, yeah, things are pretty dire for us at this time. Our Donskoy, I believe, is actually nearly dead. Yes, he is actually nearly dead. Even though doing our very best to try to actually do anything, it would have been nice to actually get those torpedoes on that Yamato, but unfortunately, not so lucky. CB does get a big hit on that Yamato, does leave him fairly low in health, but yeah, there's not really much we can do at this time. We'd have to be extremely lucky to either detonate or destroy a few ships. But once again, U.S.S.R has no torpedoes to actually deal a high alpha damage, only has its guns, and that Donskoy is extraordinarily low in health that he's actually going to die fairly quickly, I believe. Most major threat right now is obviously the Ognevoi. For the Ognevoi is the Henry. And that's actually something I didn't really mention. The speed on the Ognevoi is alright. It's probably comparable to U.S. and American DDs. It's not very fast. It's definitely not a speedboat for sure, even though it is a Russian line. And unfortunately for us, even though the torpedoes look pretty good, we're not going to be that lucky. Look at this. Do open up on this Henry, hoping to make him turn, but he is not interested in the slightest. The Yamato goes down. We actually do land a torpedo, but it's just not going to be enough to take out this Henry. Trying to help U.S.S.R, but U.S.S.R is just going to get rushed down by the Henry. And yeah, tier 8 DDs, even though we did our best, do get a fire, which is actually kind of nice. There's only so much we can do. CB's coming in to try to deal less damage. Fortunately, I actually do have heals, so I could probably survive for a little bit longer, but unfortunately for U.S.S R, he actually gets detonated, which is just an insult to injury, I guess. Fun and engaging, but yeah. All that's left on our team is myself and the CV. I'm actually trying to push in towards the CV, try to get additional AA, because once again, the AA on the Ognevoi is not superbly amazing. Do actually get a decent amount of airplanes shot down, but with only 50 seconds left, there's not much I can really do. Just way too far away. They have the caps advantage, so unfortunately this is going to be a loss. But the reason why I picked this battle is kind of the basic speed and kind of an instance of why, even though you're bottom tier, you can still kind of help carry the game. So it's not always that big of an issue, but I mean, it still plays a part. But 109,795 points of damage, 6 torpedo hits, pretty good. So overall, not a bad battle, but unfortunately, it is going to be a loss. But, not much you can do about that. So we're going to take a quick look at the after screen. And once again, the fact that being tier 8, I love this after screen. So as you can see, this is the basic speed for both teams. On the left, myself and U.S.S.R are top of the team. I have a basic speed of 1,819. U.S.S.R has a basic speed of 1,725. And then you go to the enemy team, and their top of the team is the Smolensk and the Henry. And the Smolensk has a basic speed of 2,723. So he did a very stellar game. But then it goes down to the Henry, which has a basic speed of 1,509. So we're actually, altogether, we're 2 and 3 during that entire battle, which is just hilarious to see. In a tier 10 battle, 2 tier 8 DDs were 2 and 3 on both teams. So just very amusing to actually see that. But that's going to be it for this video. Kind of a quick look at the Ognevoi. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. It does help me out quite a bit. Helps kind of spread my channel, and hoping that you guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.